Creativity, a power that helps you create incredible new things. Out of nowhere, brings up revolutionary ideas, lets you create whole new worlds and gives rise to art. It seems to be limited by almost nothing. There are no boundaries to the creative mind. It gives us the ability to create. Creativity is the human superpower. But while in the past our own survival depended on finding creative ideas for certain problems, our everyday lives today are almost entirely determined by one factor: consumption. Netflix, Instagram, Amazon, Just Eat, Tinder, almost every need can be satisfied within minutes or even seconds. And even thinking is something we can now outsource to artificial intelligence, which seems to generate new ideas on whole new scales. But there's one thing we've unlearned: how to be creative. From creative world explorers, we have become consumer-driven addicts. So how can we break out of this cycle and reconnect with our creativity? 2 years ago, when I was writing on my bachelor's thesis, my days were determined by hard and draining work. Research, reading literature, interviews and studies, writing texts. There was almost no time left for anything else, especially not for creativity. Quite the opposite. During this intensive work phase, I fell into a social media addiction that had never been so strong before. I was literally drawn to anything that distracted me from my work. The deadline was approaching, and I knew that something had to change because I had completely lost my connection to my creative compass. After months of hard work, I finally had my bachelor's degree in my pocket, and I knew exactly what I needed now: free time and my camera. So I'm finally done with my bachelor's thesis, and the next few days I just want to focus on myself and my creativity, because to be honest, it feels a bit like I've unlearned how to be creative in the past couple of months. So I'm really looking forward to the next days and really excited what I'm gonna learn and if I can find back to my creativity. I had probably found the perfect place for this. My family's summer house in a small town, no Wi-Fi, no distractions, lots of nature, surrounded by peace and calm. So welcome to my new home for the next few days, and I think this is exactly what I needed. Simply peace and quiet. On top of that, this house has just the bare essentials, what means a bed, a kitchen and a bathroom. So there are no distractions and I can just simply be. I've also set myself a few rules for the next 3 days. So social media is a taboo, no Netflix, no YouTube, no television. Instead of consuming, I want to create. Cooking for myself, finding new ideas, taking time for the camera and my creative process. I want to reconnect with my creativity. So I try to be creative. I sit down, take my time and start thinking. Sit and wait for creativity. Somehow it doesn't work that easily. What actually is creativity? Creativity comes from Latin creare, which means to create, to appoint, to cause. Creativity itself is defined as a characteristic of someone or some process that forms something new and valuable. It's the ability to make or otherwise bring into existence something new, whether a new solution to a problem, a new method or device, or a new artistic object or form. So creativity truly is a human superpower. Being creative means building a bridge between a person's inner and outer world. To bring something that exists only in one's imagination into a concrete form that can be experienced by others. This might be painters expressing their ideas in a painting, carpenters who create a new piece of furniture from wood, or filmmakers who show their thoughts in films. Everyone has their own way of expressing themselves. But not all creativity is the same. Science distinguishes between 2 types: little c creativity and big C creativity. Little c creativity are simple decisions that we make for ourselves in the everyday life and with which we simplify our lives. For example, when we decide which bus to take to get to an appointment as quickly as possible. Big C creativity is the artistic generative creativity. It is characterized by the fact that its impact or usefulness only unfolds when it's perceived by others. So having ideas and keeping them to yourself without putting them into reality is one thing. For creativity, in fact, two phases are crucial: inspiration and generation. Only both together result in creativity. So I have to be active, try things out, go out with the camera, get inspired. Nature. In nature, I quickly feel completely set back. This is where I feel the greatest freedom and from which I draw the greatest motivation. Out here in nature, I can let my mind wander completely freely, follow my intuition, and also find the beauty in the small details. It's a mix of inner peace and the urge to discover and create something new, and the brain switches off, but at the same time, new ideas arise automatically. So it's just a very nice state of mind here in nature, because you can find a lot of inspiration for your creative work. So, how does creativity arise in the brain? In order to generate new ideas, our brain activates the default mode network, the area of our brain that gets active when we are doing nothing and letting our thoughts wander. At the same time, the brain uses the hippocampus, which incorporates memories, existing knowledge and thoughts about the future into the idea generation process. Existing ideas and thoughts are thus reconnected and combined, and the associative memory puts them into context. The exciting thing about this is that being creative requires both regions for spontaneous decisions and regions for well-considered judgments. Only the combination of both allows new ideas to emerge in us. Creativity. If you look inside yourself, you don't actually need that much to be creative. What is definitely helpful is being able to visualize things and make decisions, because without a decision and a real action, an idea just remains an idea. And at the same time, of course, you need this intrinsic motivation to discover new things and also take on challenges. I would say that creativity is very much about curiosity and also openness. I notice how good it is for me to spend time without consuming anything. I can concentrate much more on my thoughts and my mind feels reconnected and clear. I write things down and can organize my ideas much more freely. I find peace and fulfillment by creating instead of consuming. The big question I still ask myself is, how can I integrate creative phases into my everyday life? In the 1920s, British psychologist Graham Wallas observed and studied creative thinkers and inventors and developed the theory of the creative process, based on his findings. He divides this creative process into 4 phases. Phase 1 – Preparation. In the first phase, information is gathered, materials are collected and ideas are compiled. A project or problem is identified. Phase 2 – Incubation. In Phase 2, space is left for thoughts to grow in the mind and mature into an idea. For this, the subconscious recombines experiences and ideas. Phase 3 – Illumination. In the third phase, the idea enters your consciousness and you have an aha moment. This is the transition from the unconscious to the conscious. Many people are familiar with this effect from countless unconscious moments where the mind and thoughts can wander. That's why the best ideas sometimes come to you in the shower. Phase 4 – Verification. The final phase is all about actually turning your ideas and insights into a product. It's only when you put your ideas into action that they become a creation, something real that came from your own mind. So here I am, fresh from video editing, finally creating an actual product again, which is exactly the video you're currently watching. These 4 phases we just saw have somehow helped me understand this creative process. And what I find particularly exciting about it is that once again we see that we need a combination of structure and free thinking. While phases 1 and 4 are there to give the project a form, a structure, to organize things and turn them into a product, phases 2 and 3 represent the space to dream, to let ideas take shape and to spin your thoughts further. But one cannot exist without the other. For creativity, we need both structure and free thinking. And that's exactly where we can pick up a few routines.
Make time for creative thinking. First of all, you need time without constantly thinking about your next appointment or task, because you need time to think, to gain new perspectives, to get to the heart of the matter, to ask the right questions. Often even small time slots that you take out of your everyday life are all you need. Second, search for places of inspiration. Try to find a place that distracts you as little as possible, without social media, news or noise. Here you can let your thoughts wander and ideas usually come all by themselves. A change of location can often work wonders if you're experiencing creative block. Third, experience a lot. There's no better source of inspiration than trying new things. To get creative ideas, you have to break out of old patterns and expose your brain to new situations and perspectives outside your normal way of thinking. This can even be as simple as reading a book. A rich treasure trove of experiences gives the brain the opportunity to make new combinations. Fourth, share your thoughts with others. Sharing your thoughts and discussing ideas with others can help you develop them further. Other people have different perspectives and new ideas about your idea that can inspire you. And ultimately, fifth, create structures for yourself and just give it a try. Ultimately, you have to give shape to your thoughts and bring your ideas to life. Therefore, create structure by translating your project into concrete actions. Plan your next steps and actively pursue them by scheduling your day and setting deadlines for yourself. It may be challenging at first, but once you've established a routine, it will become easier each passing day.
Being creative can be hard and draining. Often, you don't know where to start or which direction to take. You feel lonely because you seem to be working on your own in the open. Creativity can feel like a burden. But we must understand creativity as a gift, as an ability that allows us humans to create incredible things and gives each and every one of us the opportunity to create things. It is a process of inspiration and failure, of new ideas and implementation. And we must understand creativity as this process. We must be active, leave room for thoughts, and at the same time translate our thoughts into form and action. And from this action, we recognize the beauty of creativity because we have created something. So go out and let your creativity run wild. And the best thing about it, creativity is in all of us.